Hey YouTube, Dr. Rice back at you with another video. Be sure to like and subscribe. And be sure to follow us over at Twitter at Dr. Rice6 where we can continue to have the intelligent conversation. And so we're back and we had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Hope you all did also. And it's been an exhilarating year so far. And, you know, we've been looking at a lot of things in the news. Oh, I didn't even tell y'all. Tifa knows how to play chess and she's been teaching me. She's been teaching me how to play. We'll go with that. Okay. And yeah, so we thought we'd bring you in our habitat things we like to do. And that's one of the things because she's a real mental type person. And so, yeah. But we've been looking at some things in the news and we wanted to come and talk to you about some things that we have been seeing and kind of go over them with you a little bit as we move forward. We probably do part 2 of this right here also with another thing that we wanted to bring to you last month that we didn't get a chance to, being busy with the holidays and everything. And I hope everyone has a, you know, happy holiday as it moves forward into Christmas, New Year's, Christmas Eve, all that stuff. And wishing all you and all of your family to have a safe one. So one of the things that we have been looking at in the news was Kyrie Irving. And I'm sure a lot of you looked at it and had your opinion. So we'll have that conversation over here too, because we're definitely into social issues, relationship issues, mental health issues, all of those type things, as well as injustice, or anything else that we might see that we want to talk about. Uh, my first take on it was that, what in the world is this? You know, uh, dude puts up a tweet, right? And it's a tweet from Amazon. Is that right?
A movie. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they got it up for millions, billions to see, and because he tweeted it, he
Nothing like you share a YouTube video or you share
mhm.
anything new that hits the internet or
Right, and so he's
no
not commenting
context.
on
No
it. He put
context,
no
yeah.
context that he supported or not or anything else. He didn't make the film, all that, right? So then he has to apologize to the world,
Mm.
no, to the Jewish
Jewish
community
community.
for that. And you know, when I think about the Jewish community, as you know, I worked for a Jewish couple in my youth, and you got to meet them,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and so I understand a lot about their story because I grew up around. They gave me my first job, so forth and so on. And so the empathy of where both African Americans and Jewish people come from are not that far apart,
Right.
you know, from oppression and so forth and so on. So it's hard for me to believe that he was a racist because when I think of racist, I think of the pitchforks, I think of
Mm-hmm.
oppressing people, I
Mm-hmm.
think of putting people in bondage, I think of enslavement, I think of a place of just total beatdown,
Yeah.
uh, no rights, being able to take away families, breaking up families, it being legal, raping our women, doing things simply because you're black, not having the right to vote, all of
Right.
those things.
A
And
form
I
of
don't know,
abuse, yeah.
what were you saying?
A form of abuse, whether systematically out of your mouth, action.
Absolutely. And
Both.
I don't know that one person can represent that.
Yeah.
That's my problem. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that one black person can represent all of that
In a tweet.
in a tweet, right? Um, so that's where my problem is at, and so he may be opinionated towards it, he may have a position towards it, but when it comes to being a racist, although they try to put that term in for anything that they see to make
Share
the
it.
greater
Yeah.
picture seem equal to what happened in the past to what's happening now and call it the same racist, I certainly see that anger, that unleashing on a race of people totally different than what one person can inflict.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so to call him a racist or anything in that context, I'm not seeing it because though we can make the word what we want it to be and say, okay, he's a racist because he made this statement.
I don't even know that they believe that he's a racist. I think that they wanted to stop the information they wanted to hold somebody accountable for it.
Right, right,
They definitely want to hold you accountable for it if you're sharing it and they're trying to stop it. I don't
right,
even believe that in their, I mean, in their right mind of minds, do they really believe that he's racist?
right. And but when you think about the word, sure, you can go by the dictionary context, but when you're looking at it from the standpoint of a person who went through it,
Right.
who endures it every day, and suppression as it relates to being able to get credit, being able to get suitable housing, being able to equal pay on jobs, being able to be denied in your face because they say you're not because of they may render you are not ready for the fit for the job. So it's done on paper now. But when I think about the pitchforks, the lynching, the tar and feathering, the hanging by nooses and all of that, I don't know that one person can represent what a whole race has done to a people. And that's my problem with using the word racism as it relates to what happened before and trying to equate that to a person's statement.
Right.
Because much more than a statement happened to derive the word and what that looked like and what that felt like and all of that. And what he said certainly didn't encompass all of those things.
No, it didn't.
And so, but you could say he's a racist because in the context, something against another race happened. And so he's a racist. That certainly doesn't hold the weight of what racism is in my mind as it relates to the actions, the oppression, the beatdown, the neglect, the unequal rights, the raping of women, the tearing up of families, the making a person work without wages, all of that. He can't be that. It just simply can't be that. We can call it that, but it simply doesn't make it that. But let's go in and look at a little bit about what he said. And we know everybody's seen it, but let's just talk about this for a minute.
Questionable in there, untrue. Like I said, and the first time you guys asked me when I was sitting on that stage, I don't believe everything that everybody posts. It's a documentary. So, I take my responsibility.
It seems like Adam sort of wanted to hear the word "I apologize," or in your mind, you said I didn't mean to cause any harm. Were you apologizing, or were you not apologizing?
I didn't mean to cause any harm. I'm not the one that made the documentary.
Kyrie, are you surprised that you did hurt people?
Surprised that I did hurt people?
Are you surprised that reaction and some of the things that you did hurt people?
Yeah, I think I can.
That's an amazing question. Are you surprised the things that you did hurt people?
Yeah, it's accusatory.
Yeah, I like that word accusatory. And when I think of racism, I certainly don't think of a tweet that doesn't inflict harm towards anyone, but you go after him, but you don't go after an entire platform that hosts the movie, that's making money off of the movie, that's publicitating the movie, that's putting it out there for everybody to see, as if he made it known some type of a way.
They had it. I mean, they had it pulled down, but he was a part of the damage control. It was, you're sharing it. We don't want you to share it, and we definitely don't want your followers sharing it.
Yeah. But the problem that I have, it was already being shared to billions.
Of course.
And so because he shared it, there's a problem. But it wasn't a problem when the platform shared it. And so it only became a problem when he shared it. They certainly have more people and far more reach than he does.
Yeah.
And so nothing was said until he did it. So it had to be up already. And they took it down and nothing was ever said to them, if they truly took it down or just blocked it for meanwhile or whatever they did. And all that he did, having to give money back, go through counseling, being suspended from games, they didn't have to do anything. They just took it down. And so why couldn't he just apologize? And then they say all of the things you've done to people. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
And so when I think about all of the things done to people, hurt people, I'm thinking about slavery, depression, tearing up of families, working without wage day and night, being whipped. That's being killed, being lynched. That's what I call what you did to people.
Yeah.
So, it's all an opinion. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. How did you see this? but we're going to continue because we want to continue to unravel this a little bit more. Well, let's listen to a little bit more that Kyrie talked about.
The better question is just, where were you when I was a kid, figuring out that 300 million of my ancestors are buried in America? Where were you guys asking those same questions when I was a kid learning about the traumatic events of my familial history and what I'm proud to come from and why I'm proud to stand here?
Now that's powerful.
Yeah.
Dude said, where were you when I went through all my trauma? Pretty
Yeah,
much.
I like how he pushes not pushed away, but he gives them what belongs to them.
Absolutely. And
where's your shared responsibility?
And it's like so we have this situation where he makes a tweet. They call it combat him against Jewish people, which I don't think was the intent by no stretch of the imagination. And then he wants him to apologize for it. And he says he didn't mean any harm towards anybody, but that wasn't good enough because he didn't say, I'm sorry. And he's right. Nobody ever addresses what, one of the things people say is you're playing the race card as if it's a game you play, as if your ancestors weren't killed, as if your families weren't torn apart, as if slavery was something that you should just be over with now because it's over. Well, if that's the case, then the Holocaust should be over because it's over. And the two are never over because we continue to live both sides with that torment, with that pain, with that unbearable understanding of what people can do and how evil people can be. I don't know that you simply can play a race card. What do you think about the race card?
To me, it sounded as though he was saying, you're giving this to me, but what about the facts of your responsibility and what you've done and what you haven't done and what you need to consider?
Yeah, let's take it a little bit farther then. Let's see.
So, these same questions that you guys ask, me dealing with it as being a melanated, pigmented person all around the world and dealing with racial biases against my skin color, demeaning me because of my religious beliefs, and I'm still sitting in the seat standing. So I take my full responsibility. Again, I'll repeat it, for posting something on my Instagram or Twitter that may have had some unfortunate falsehoods in it. But I also am a human being that's 30 years old, and I've been growing up in a country that's told me that I wasn't worth anything, and I came from a slave class, and I come from a people that are meant to be treated the way we get treated every day. So I'm not here to compare anyone's atrocities or tragic events that their families have dealt with generations of time. I'm just here to continue to expose things that our world continues to put in darkness.
And that should be our card. Exactly what he said, to expose,
Absolutely.
share, make people aware, and bring people to accountability.
Yeah, but when you look at accountability, he certainly sounds like he takes it there, but because you don't hear the key buzzwords, sorry, never do it again,
Well, not speaking of Kyrie's accountability, but just bringing people accountable to the ideals that they don't accept.
Well, I can kind of see where they twisted this, where they threw the curveball, because the curveball was he tweeted something that was already out in the atmosphere, that was already created, that was already making somebody money, and they didn't have to give any money back, but he did. For something like he said, he didn't create, he didn't write it, he didn't come up with it, but yet it pits him against the entire Jewish community. This is the Dallas Cowboys owner who was out in 1957, I believe it was, when they blocked the black kids from going to school in Alabama. And you can see the approach and everything. So this just hit the news a few days ago. Washington Post, I believe, did an article on it. And so they questioned him about it here within the last couple of days. And let's see what he had to say.
Your thoughts on the Washington Post article and how the picture they painted of you from a picture when you were 14 years old?
Yeah, that was, gosh, 65 years ago, and curious kid. I didn't know at the time the monumental event, really, that was going on, and I'm sure glad that we're a long way from that. I am, and we just that would remind me just continue to do everything we can to not have those kinds of things happen.
Any regrets of just being in the photo, being there at all?
What?
Any regrets on being in the photo, being there at all?
Well, I wouldn't have just dug that up for sure. I mean, seriously. But
He said he would. Wait a minute.
that was curiously.
He said I would not have just dug that up for sure.
No.
He's having a hard time answering these questions, aren't he?
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting because Kyrie Irving got the thing. Are you a racist? You know, but let's just finish seeing what happens here.
I got criticized because I was more interested in how I was going to be punished by my coaches and everybody for being out front, but nobody there had any idea, frankly, what was going to take place. You didn't. We didn't.
Now he said nobody.
How could nobody know if they
what
did it?
what was going to take place, as if they didn't know that black kids was coming to the school and they were blocking him in. Nobody knew what was going to take place. That's an interesting statement.
Yeah, it's that whole thing of holding people accountable for what they say and what they do. Not even being challenged to what he's saying.
Let's finish listening to it.
Have all the last 70 years of reference and all the things that were going, and so
he said we didn't have the last 70 years of reference at that time. Now, listen to this. So he says we didn't have the last 70 years of reference since that happened from this time to that time. But we certainly had slavery, and we certainly had the Emancipation Proclamation, and we certainly had the migration to the North and to the South, and we certainly had children trying to go to school. And so I don't understand when he says we didn't have the last 70 years of reference when we had the content of the whole problem on this full display since the 1800s, even up to that point. Because that's a long way from 1864 when the Emancipation Proclamation was going. So that's an interesting statement. What do you think?
I think it's evasive. I think it's he's completely avoiding. It's avoidance.
Absolutely. Y'all chime in. Let us know what you think.
Jerry, do you understand the perception that people have of you standing there? Because that was not exactly a welcoming committee that day.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
And I understand that. And, I've just understand it. Yes.
So for the people that look at that and say you were a part of that, and you're saying you were curious, and other people are saying, well,
When he scratches his ear like that, that means stop him.
Look. That was 65 years ago, and I had no idea when I walked up there what we were doing. And
He had no idea that there would be a confrontation with the two black boys.
I was born in 2. That's just the picture they got there.
Improve and do things the right way.
So what did you think of the crowd who, these kids were just trying to go to school? There was a whole lot of people, there was a lot of hostility towards those kids.
Yeah, you want to ask me what I was thinking? Okay, I was thinking about I'm going to get in trouble for being up here, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was 15 years old. And so having said that, that's all that I can remember.
Okay.
Jerry was reported that you're going to talk to Odell Beckham Jr. December 5th.
So they stopped questioning him about it at all because he wanted them to.
That's it.
He's shaking.
That's it.
He said that's it. He had. What do you think?
I think he got more control of the interview than anybody.
That's interesting. So when we think of a person like Kyrie who did a tweet, and then you think of a person in the middle of a civil rights issue.
Babe, I'm sorry.
No.
Something in my throat.
That's okay.
Okay.
In the middle of a civil rights issue.
Dead smack in the middle.
Dead smack. And they're blocking these kids from being able to go. There's no way in where he's standing. There's no way in there. There's no way in straight forward. And they sitting there with cigarettes in their mouths, looking at these kids and their kids. What do you think about that? Let's take a look at the photo again. There you go. What are you seeing?
Definitely onlooking. Definitely looking on to what's happening and understanding what's happening. And how could you not? I mean, like you said, it's dead smack in the middle of the time, unless you lived under a rock somewhere. That the first time he's encountering black people, he didn't know what he didn't expect.
But this is after slavery. This is after black people weren't allowed to go to school. This is after the oppression of it. This is after the Emancipation Proclamation. He said he had no idea.
Far more than 70 years of reference.
I would say. And if all these cameras out here and these people anticipating them coming and not wanting them in, he doesn't know what's going on. He would be the only one in that crowd that would not know.
Yeah.
But he said he was in the right place, just at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. So that's the right place to be.
Right. So they're clearly they should all be in the right place.
Yeah. So now you see how Kyrie was treated, and you see how he's treated. Is there a disparity?
Completely.
What do you see? And y'all chime in. Let us know what you see. Because I know it's hard and people don't want to have the conversation. I know that it's rough because they'll say you're pulling the race card, and they just want to, like Kyrie say, diminish your trauma, what you went through. And he's telling them these are the things that we went through. And so they beat him up, but he does like this. That's all, meaning stop it. And they ask him, oh, what are you going to do at the game next week?
Yeah, it's just interesting how they just back up off of him. It's like he has control of the interview. So he decides when the question's going to stop. He's going to decide this is enough, and they back up. They just... Yeah,
but he didn't say, I'm sorry that happened. I'm sorry for those kids. I apologize for even being... But they
nobody says, are you a racist?
Right, exactly. Isn't that amazing?
Nobody.
Isn't that amazing? And I don't know that he is. And it's a hard place. All of a sudden, nearly 70 years, this picture comes up.
Nobody even thinks to say it or ask.
Yeah, but they could think about it at Kyrie. Let's hear what LeBron James had to say about this.
I was wondering why I haven't gotten a question from you guys about the Jerry Jones photo. But when the Kyrie thing was going on, you guys were quick to ask us questions about that.
Okay.
Hold on. And I don't even want you guys to say nothing. When I watched Kyrie talk and he says, I know who I am, but I want to keep the same energy when we're talking about my people and the things that we've been through. And that Jerry Jones photo is one of those moments that our people, black people, have been through in America. And I feel like as a black man, as a black athlete, as someone with power and a platform, when we do something wrong or something that people don't agree with, it's on every single tabloid, every single news coverage. It's on the bottom ticker. It's asked about every single day. But it seems like to me that the whole Jerry Jones situation photo, and I know it was years and years ago and we all made mistakes, I get it, but it seemed like it's just been buried under, like, oh, it happened, okay, we just move on. And I was just kind of disappointed that I haven't received that question from you guys. Appreciate it.
Example of Kyrie. Here you have this dude, and he controls the whole interview. He says the questions are going to stop. He alludes that the questions should stop, and they stop, and nobody goes further. Nobody presses the issue. Nobody's having follow-up interviews. Nobody's asking for
an apology. Do he apologize? Is he a racist?
Racist.
Right.
Nobody's asking how he feels about black people. Nobody asked him how he got involved. Nobody asked him, did you intercede? Did you try to stop things?
What happened after that? What did you do after that?
What'd you do?
How long did you stay there?
Right. No one is pressing the issue.
I love to hear your comments. What do you think? What do you think about the state of America today? What Kyrie went through, and not that I'm saying that that it eliminates him from, but I think he owned up to his responsibility. He answered questions, 2 or 3 press conferences, finally beat
As a
down to
public
say
figure, yeah.
he was sorry, finally said the physical words, and he didn't make the movie, wasn't there in it. Now you have a guy in it, in the middle of it, right? There for what reason? How long did he stay? Did he perpetuate that? We don't know because it's a still photo, so we can't say that. But he's still alive, and people can ask the question,
Right.
and no one asked the question.
No one wants to know his viewpoint. No one's even interested.
Right. And so they, he just says it's unfortunate. And do you understand? Yes, I understand. But no compassion towards the empathy of those kids trying to go to school.
And no mention of it.
And he does the stop it sign, and they stop it. They just change courts. Yeah. So chime in. Let us know what you think. Again, we're going to talk about a couple other things, and we'll chop it up, and love to hear back from you. I mean, it's one of these things that we need to talk about. We need to understand what we understand, and we need to call it what it is.